Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Are you able to see the screen share?
Yes, Devi.
Okay. So we were actually on verse number 11. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tamstathaiva bhajamyaham mama vatmanuvartante manushya partha sarvashaha.
Sorry, Didi. This is your computer screen, Abhi, not the Gita Shloka. I think you need to share that, Abhi.
Oh yeah, that's what I asked. I thought maybe you were able to see that. No worries. 1 second. Huh? 1 minute. Now, how is it? You're able to see?
Yes, Didi, yes.
You can see the text, right?
Yes, Didi.
Okay. So as you sow, so shall you reap. So in whatever form a person prays, he gets that. So there is no pagan's prayer, there is only prayer. And what is important is Shraddha, how it is done, with what commitment it is done, how much of devotion it is done, and what is the purpose of doing the prayer. Just give a second. So the important thing here is the goal, the end is always Bhagavan, even though the person who has no other goal than biceps may not recognize Bhagavan. This is with respect to the person who wants to develop his biceps. So basically, so the verse is an important one because it answers the questions about how the Lord is to be worshipped, with what degree of devotion, with what inner commitment, with what purpose, and in what form are the people to worship Him. So even though not connected to religion are blessed. Do you want me to read the whole thing once so we get the idea? I think we'll do that once again, huh? Yeah, I will just read this, not a lot of reading. So let me just read this once. So those who worship me in whatever way, I bless them in the same way, O Arjuna. People follow my path in all ways. Again, Krishna is talking as Ishvara here. The verse is a very important one because this we all read. According to Krishna, it is all very simple. I bless them in whatever form they invoke me, according to their karma, according to their prayer. For example, those who want wealth and steal to get it are blessed with a prison sentence. It is as simple as that. So don't blame me. If a devotee worships the Lord in the form of Krishna, that is, in the form in which the devotee will see the Lord. In other words, seeing the Lord as Krishna is purely subjective, even though this vision is very real to the devotee. Devotees will sometimes say, I saw Krishna yesterday. For a devotee who has been worshipping the Lord in the form of Krishna for a long time, it is possible to visualize the Lord in that form. But this kind of a Lord comes and goes, which means that the vision is bound by time, whereas the person who saw Krishna remains. Does this not mean that the devotee is greater than the Lord who comes and goes? If so, what kind of a Lord is this? And what if the Lord appears in some other form? What if he appears as a Western Lord, coated, booted, and suited? The devotee will become confused. Thus, Krishna says, in whatever form I'm worshipped, in that form alone I appear. He's talking as Ishvara, not as Mr. Krishna. So, however, in whatever form you worship him, he will appear in that form alone. Because Ishvara is omniscient, all pervading, and Satchit Ananda. So that is the truth. So it is not like this kind of person for whom he has a vision of Krishna. He comes and goes. It is bound by time. It is not like that vision. So he may appear to him as Krishna, no doubt, but it does not mean he is limited by time. He is not bound by time. He is there in whatever form. I think later in this chapter, we'll get to know the different forms of prayer. How even pranayama is a prayer, is a yajna. Different kinds of yajnas we'll see. So, as you sow, so shall you reap. This statement can apply to the purpose as well as to the form. For whatever purpose I am worshipped, that purpose I serve. People usually want only limited results. When they are in distress, for instance, they want relief from that distress. Although this particular verse is with reference to Vedic rituals and prayers, it can also be considered beyond its religious scope. I am available to you as the various resources in the world, the various laws, powers, and possibilities. In whichever form you invoke me, in that form I am going to appear. If you look at the extremes, if you look at, say, terrorists and drug addicts and all those who are into addictions, he appears to them in that form because that is what they crave, and that is what, and that is the result also is like that. It is not like that he gives those results. No, it is as you sow, so shall you reap. So, what kind of seed are you sowing? It is a sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. So, that would matter. A person who goes to the gym daily and lifts weights because he or she wants to develop biceps is invoking the Lord in the form of biceps alone and will be blessed with biceps. In other words, the Lord will appear in the form of biceps alone. And if you develop only your left arm, the Lord will bulge out there only. This then is the Lord. So, what Gurudev always says, what is that? Intention, attention, and manifestation. So, how is your intention? What is your intention? How pure is it? And then you put some attention on it, and then it will manifest. This is the law of the universe. And this is exactly what Bhagwan is saying here, as you sow, so shall you reap.
I also feel that everything is God. Everything is God.
Yeah,
So even bicep is God only. So it will be God.
correct.
No, so that way, correct. Thank you. So nice. It's so beautiful.
Isn't it? Everything
Yeah,
is
correct.
all the opposites, for example. It's because why? It is all in creation. We cannot just say only good things are coming from God. That is why they say there is no pagan's prayer, there is only prayer, the next part. So it's our concept that we think, oh, only good things come from God. Or God is pure. Of course, God is pure, but God exists in and through creation. So, thus, you will find that in whatever form you invoke, in that form alone, the result will come. As you sow, so shall you reap. In whatever form you invoke the Lord, in the same form, the Lord, the result will come. That is why jnanis are what? They go above dvandvas, above the pairs of opposites. They're in that realm where there is no raga, no dvesha, no bhaya, no krodha, and no pairs of opposites. Joy, sorrow, they're above that. But all the rest of us who are ajnanis are entangled in this world of opposites.
One more thing I understand is, that God can come in any form. I was saying, so to go if he wears and comes, we won't accept him because we
Correct.
want to come only in that yellow dhoti and flute. So
Yeah,
conditioned mind,
correct. Very right. See, that is why the more and more subtle you are, the more and more sensitive one is, and the more expansive that discrimination is, the viveka is, the more and more belonged we feel to everything in the world. See, that is why Gurudev is able to say he has got the prisoner rehabilitation. Otherwise, we could have incriminated them as bad people, right? He has encompassed everybody. He's not left any strata untouched.
That's what, when the TTC and all, it says you are part of the society. You go to red light area and everywhere you have to go.
Yeah.
That's how it is. There also you have to include them in society, yes.
If you exclude anyone, then what are you talking about? What Advaita are you talking about?
Yeah, true. Very true.
So every aspect of creation, Ishvara is embedded in. He runs all pervasive. So therefore, in whatever form you invoke, in that form alone, the result will come. And the terrorists, they go on praying, oh, I want this. I mean, I don't know what kind of prayers they have, but probably they would want to have more ammunition, more guns. And in that form only they will get. Because that is their prayer. And that is why you will find that there is always these pairs of opposites. There is never absolute, it's always relative goodness that's there in the world, in the samsara. It is not absolute. From Satya Yuga onwards, if you see, there is always an element of people who are doing dushkrita. The dushkritas were always there. Only that the percentage of them kept increasing as the yugas passed by. Which again, I think is a big topic in itself. How did this happen and all? But what I'm meaning to mention is that there is in creation itself, when creation happened, there is these pairs of opposites that are so much part of creation. If there was only growth and no destruction and no inhibition, we would have trees that reached up to the sky. Every tree has growth factors and also has inhibins, which inhibit the length of the tree, how tall the tree can grow. Similarly, human beings, we have a limit to where we can grow. Otherwise, we will all just be growing. So there is this, it's embedded in creation, growth, destruction, growth and inhibition. So rising above these pairs of opposites is what a jnani is. So there is no pagan's prayer, there is only prayer. Although different religions have their own forms of prayer, no one form is more efficacious than another. Regardless of the language used to invoke the Lord is invoked. When tribal people perform a rain dance, for instance, rain comes. Similarly, when a person performs a certain very elaborate, sophisticated Vedic ritual, the rains do come. You know, um, what I wanted to share was when you look at all the courses we have for children, teenagers, and adults, when little children, little angels, they just chant Om, that's actually enough. I just remember several years ago when this course was conducted, there was this little child who had problems with nightmares and he would not be able to consistently sleep restfully through the night. Middle of the night, he would cry, get up and go to his parents. So, and they taught just simple things. I mean, just a bit of stretches, something about life's good eating habits, and then Om chanting. And that is what they're asked to do in the night before they sleep and once they get up. And the mother came back the next day saying, this is the first day that he actually slept through. So what I meant was, it does not depend on how elaborate your prayer is, what all you have to do. It all depends on the bhava, the Yeah. Because here the tribals just do a rain dance and the rain comes. And Vedic rituals, homas also, they're meant for rain. Even that will give you rain. So it doesn't mean only if you do a Vedic ritual, you will get rain. So prayer is universal. It does not exclude anyone. How they pray, that is not, in what form they're praying, not important. When these rituals, be they Vedic or tribal, are performed with Shraddha, with faith and sincerity, there will be rain. Without Shraddha, the rains will not come. The mode can be different, but the result, the phala, is the same. Thus, any form of prayer is as efficacious as any other prayer. This must be understood well, not as tolerance for or accommodation of forms of worship other than one's own, but in terms of simple understanding alone. Why this is important? Because we do not look down upon any other form of worship, or we don't say only this is great, or this is the only way. No. There is no pagan's prayer, there is only prayer. When tribal people repeat a prayer in a dialect that does not have a structure, a script or grammar, it may not be understood by us, but it is understood by Bhagavan. Language is there. The people think they have said something, and they have. Thus, there is communication between themselves and the Lord, which is all that matters. Even in religions where the believers repeat words in a language unknown to them, it is understood that the Lord understands the language being used. Nothing more is required. Just as when you send a telegram, the other person should be able to read it. When you talk to the Lord, He should be able to understand you. A prayer is a feeling expressed in a certain form, in a certain language, the meaning of which you may not even know. But the feeling, the intention is definitely there. And this is what is conveyed to the Lord in prayer. As for the words of the prayer themselves, the Lord knows all languages. All you have to do is express what you have to express. This is not religious accommodation. It is a simple understanding of what prayer is, what Ishvara is. No expansiveness of heart is required here, nor do you need to be a great sadhu or saint. Understanding the nature of prayer is not to be confused with how each religion defines God, which is where all kinds of problems arise. When it comes to real issues, concepts, and so on, there are real problems. But these have nothing to do with prayer. The real issues are, what is freedom? Why exactly am I praying? Is it for a limited result or for some other reason? If moksha is what you want, then there is something to be understood. That you are the whole is a fact, not a belief, and is entirely different from what is being said by the various religions of the world. Because it is a fact, it is to be understood quietly, which has nothing to do with your commitment to religion as such or to one religion in particular. So basically, it's coming back to the fact that it is to be understood that you are whole, that you are all knowledge. It is not a belief. It is what you are, and therefore you have to uncover that. Even those who even those not connected to religion.
Even your religion surpasses. Means there is your commitment to religion.
You cannot say religion is not required, because it is required in a way, as a structure, so that you don't stray away. That is important. That's what he will say. Even atheists are, they are blessed. What Bhagavan says here is not only with reference to prayer, but applies beyond prayer also. That is, even a person who has no connection to religion is blessed. This includes people who claim not to be religious and those who are critical of religion also. For some people, religion is nothing more than money and power. And for a communist, religion is statism. Whatever religion is for them, in that form alone, they are blessed, meaning they are not condemned. So, Bhagwan is all inclusive. Whether he is a theist, whether he is religious, non religious, he will continue to, the people, irrespective of whether they follow a religion or not, will be blessed. In this verse, Krishna tells Arjuna, all human beings follow me alone. Mama vartma anuvartante manushyaha partha sarvashaha. In other words, whether they know I am the one that is sought after or not, they are on my track alone. At the end of the track, I am always there. They may think a particular destination is their destination, but that is only a lap in their journey. If money or power is their destination, they are still on the road to me, because power and money are also me. Remember, Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, is with me. Power also is with me alone. It's just that they are on the initial laps. But as we go forward, further and further on this path, then we realize that a non-religious person may uh, step up and upgrade to become a religious person. With religiosity included in your life, there is all the discipline, the sense of discipline that comes in with nitya karma, what to do, what not to do. Dharma comes in. And then as you keep going on the path, with all the adrishta phala that you have accrued, with the good deeds that you've done, you would get a guru who will show you the path. You're on the path already, but the path to moksha, the path to shreyas. Then that discrimination, that viveka dawns. And then you will see what is real, what is unreal. Dispassion comes in. What is permanent, what is not permanent. And then you go further into the goal. So, as from the standpoint of Ishvara, everybody is included. There is no one that is excluded. Whether he or she follows a religion, does not follow a religion. Like yesterday, we were saying black magic and all that. All that is also included. There are different types of wealth, Lakshmi. Those who dedicate their entire lives to health, for example, may enjoy Lakshmi in the form of health. And those who dedicate their lives to acquiring power may gain the power they seek, if everything goes well. If their prayers are appropriate and their previous karma, prarabdha karma, is not totally against it, they will have power. Whether they get or not, the results will depend upon various factors. It is not like everybody who prays for whatever they pray to be given. It depends on their prarabdha karma, whether their prayers are appropriate, how much of shraddha has gone into it. Thus Krishna says, Whether people ask for small ends or big ends, they are all on my track, whether they know it or not. Everyone wants to be free from feeling small. All people are really seeking identity with the Paramatma, whether they know it or not. They want to be free from being small, which is why they are seekers. Everyone is a seeker of this freedom. Seeking fullness is no different from seeking freedom from being small. They are one and the same. Furthermore, to say you are seeking fullness is not really true because you do not really know what fullness is, whereas you definitely know what smallness is. And you want to be free of this smallness.
I have one question of the last paragraph. Means everyone is on the track of him, but he is not doing anything. Whatever the output means, result is coming because of our karmas only, and the deeds whatever we have done. So means the prayer is one going to whom and how it's happening. Okay, that Shraddha is there. That's why we are praying or doing something. But anyway, because of the karma, prarabdha karma, and our efforts, things are happening. Then how we are on the track of his that मुझे कहते हैं ना हमेशा मैं देख रहा हूँ बस उस तरीके से मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि अभी exactly what we are doing.
I understand your question. So you're asking, what is the importance of prayer, right? If everything is happening according to prarabdha karma, what is the importance of prayer is what your question is, right?
Correct.
Correct? So, see, for a karma yogi, what is his prayer? What is he praying for? He or she is only praying for antakarna. See, prayer is our purushartha. Prayer is our free will. You want to pray, don't want to pray. So that is your free will. If karma yogi is the prayer is only for antakarna shuddhi. So he has to go through his prarabdha karma, no doubt. But how is his mental state? Because of this prayer, because of this intention that he's got to offer everything he does as Ishwararpana and take whatever the result comes as prasada. You look at two instances. One, a non-karma yogi who has the same, say, imagine they have the same prarabdha karma. So there's one person who's a non-karma yogi, the other is a karma yogi. So how is the mental state of the karma yogi versus the non-karma yogi, akarma yogi? The akarma yogi will get up and down with his, the results are good, he will get very elated. Results are not good, he gets very depressed. He's like a yo-yo. Whereas the karma yogi has a state of prasanna chitta, irrespective. And why is that difference? Because of his prayer, because of his attitude, right? So he's chosen to use his free will to accept, to offer everything as an offering, as a yajna, and take whatever comes as prasada. Whereas the akarma yogi, both are going through prarabdha, both are getting the same results. This is again, it's only an empirical, I'm only giving an example. But one goes up and down, the other remains in a state of equilibrium, right? So prayer, of course, has an important role. How we take our results, that is what the prayer helps.
And I think that is a part of free will.
It
And
is.
whenever there is a window of
Mm.
changing something, because we have few karmas which can be changed a bit, there it will help. The
Mm.
prarabdha, fixed prarabdha, no one will be able to change. But
Correct.
where there is a window, if
Yeah.
you pray, there is a chance that it might reduce or it might change completely. So
Yeah.
that small window of free will,
Mm.
we can pray. But we
Correct.
don't know where it is. So we
Right.
keep praying.
Right.
And also we don't know which is prarabdha and all. Sometimes it's changeable. So to give, better to give a good shot and see whether it works.
We don't know, right? That is the limited small the see, what we know is we are small. We know we are limited. We don't know what is going to happen the next moment. Did any one of us predict that there's going to be this war? Of course, astrologers aside, I'm not talking of them, about the war, about what will happen next time, next second. We don't know. We are limited in our knowledge. So we don't know whether it's the prarabdha or the result of the prayer that is happening. But what we have is our free will, and we use that free will. And after getting to know that this is what is the goal of our life, going back to de-evolving into being or using our purushartha only for artha, kama, and uh, any non-moksha purushartha will be meaningless after getting exposed to this knowledge, right?
And also prayer is a psychological coping mechanism, so you can bite through that, phase with devotion. And it will give you the strength. In some other way also, it will help you go through the situation, all that. Vedanta says you get what you deserve, not what you desire. So,
Correct. Correct. Very nice. Otherwise, this world, if everything of what one prays you get, um, people who pray for more life, they would be immortal. Of course, see, in a way, Amrita, being immortal and eternal, is the prayer of a person who's a moksha, who's got moksha purushartha. It is not like the devas wanting to get that, what is that, Amrita. They wanted that immortality for maybe a different reason, because they wanted to have an upper hand. But the moksha, for a person pursuing moksha, he just wants to realize, he just wants to get out of this smallness and rediscover that the fullness that he is. Immortality is an offshoot of that, eternal, being eternal.
For this sentence, whether people ask for small ends or big ends, they are all on my track, whether they know it or not. So in this sentence means it says like whatever result they don't, means the result will be unknown. We are expecting this result, but result may come different. So that is why it is saying they are on my track.
No, that they're asking. See, you and I, when we pray, we have an idol or form or whatever. We're praying. We're praying to the form of the Lord, for example. People who are asking for anything, whether it's small or big.
Any desire.
That asking, they don't know. They don't know that they're on my track only. It's not so much the results. It is whatever they're asking is they are on my track only, on my path only.
Okay.
They may not think it's a prayer. They may not think they're doing, like the example given of a person going to the gym. He's going to the gym to build his muscles. But that is a form of prayer. It is an intention of developing his muscles.
I see.
So he may not think it's a prayer. They
Okay.
don't know
way.
that they're on my track, but they're all on my track only. It is just that they're on different laps, different stages of evolution, if we can use that term, evolution. See, even a baby crying for milk is a prayer.
Prayer.
And what the baby gets, he's fed. So every action, for example, anything that happens in the world any action is backed by a desire.
Correct.
That desire itself is a form of prayer. So therefore you can extrapolate the whole thing, whole creation, universe, whatever is happening, even me speaking and you listening, that also is actually a form of prayer. It's that we don't realize it, we don't give it. In our head and concept, it is prayer means you sit, light a lamp and do this. That is prayer. That is our concept.
It is said that this is intellectual prayer, actually, whatever we are doing, There's several different types of prayers.
In mind, we are thinking like that. That is also prayer.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Everyone wants to be free from feeling small. All people are really seeking identity with the Paramatma, whether they know it or not. They want to be free from being small, which is why they are seekers. Everyone is a seeker of this freedom. Seeking fullness is no different from seeking freedom from being small. They are one and the same. Furthermore, to say you are seeking fullness is not really true because you do not really know what fullness is, whereas you definitely know what smallness is, and you want to be free of this smallness. See, everybody wants to be free from the smallness, but where are they seeking that fullness is a question. Like Gurudev was talking of Mullah Nazruddin in one of the knowledge sessions, where he has lost his keys. And where is he searching? He's searching for it under the street light. Why? Because there is darkness in the house. And where has he lost the keys? In the house. So when questioned, why are you searching here? No, there is light here and therefore I'm searching here. So all our material pursuits are like this. We are seeking security. We're seeking that fullness in a place where we think we're getting full. Bahirmukhi, we're going Bahirmukhi for all that. Whereas when you go Antarmukhi, that Atma Rama rather than Indriya Rama. We think, oh, if I eat this gulab jamun, I'm going to be very happy. It's a small example, but then you can extrapolate it. So where we are searching for this fullness, freedom from being small is what is meant by fullness, Purnatva. Everyone wants to be full, to be happy, even those who drink. If drinking did not give a person some happiness, some sukha, no one would do it. Fullness and happiness is the Lord's very nature. He is Purna Swarupa and Ananda Swarupa. Because all people seek this fullness, happiness, they are on the Lord's track alone, although they may not know it. A person who does not know exactly what he or she is seeking keeps on seeking. Thus, Krishna might have said, they do not know they are seeking me. Therefore, they spend their time seeking some small thing that is of me. This is like wanting to marry someone and marrying his or her little fingernail or piece of hair. Such a beautiful example Swamiji is given, right? So you want to marry someone, but instead you marry the fingernail or piece of hair. So people who are seeking small ends in life, like little power here, little name here, little wealth here, or even a bottle of alcohol, wanting to destroy, they're all like, they have the whole person, but instead of marrying the person, you're marrying his little nail or little piece of hair. What kind of marriage is that? People do not know they're doing the same thing when they seek power, name, and fame, quietude, or whatever. They do not know that these ends are nothing more than the nails and hairs of Bhagwan, Krishna, the infinite. Thinking themselves to be separate from him, they seek one aspect alone and exclude everything else. So, ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyaham. In whatever way they pray to me, in that form I will, in that aspect, in that way only I will bless them. Everything is Bhagwan, and what is excluded by pursuing one aspect alone is also Bhagwan. When you seek power to the exclusion of all else, you are not seeking Bhagwan. They are on my track alone. But they do not seek me because they do not know they are on my track. If they knew, then the small things would not hold them up along the way. I'll repeat this last paragraph. Everything is Bhagwan, and what is excluded by pursuing one aspect alone is also Bhagavan. When you seek power to the exclusion of all else, you are not seeking Bhagwan. I don't know whether there is a
Means they
typo
are
error.
they are like praying for the nails and hairs of the Bhagwan, not whole Bhagwan. Means,
Correct. They are on my track alone, but they do not seek me because they do not know they are on my track. So this me here we should understand is as the Purnatva, the whole person. The whole person, instead of marrying the whole person, you are marrying what? The nail or the hair. If they knew, then the small things would not hold them up along the way. Right? If they knew, there would be enough dispassion and they will drop, they will let go of all those things that don't matter. The spiritual path need not be arduous. While traveling to a particular destination, people may enjoy a few things along the way, but they do not lose sight of their destination. Self-knowledge need be no different. The beauty of its pursuit is that not only is the ultimate destination beautiful, but the means to it is also beautiful. It is like driving through the Rockies or going on a pilgrimage in the Himalayas. There are 4 centers of pilgrimage in the Himalayas: Badrinath, Kedarnath, Gangotri, and Yamunotri, where a lot of devotees go, this being one of the things to be done in a Hindu's life. Badrinath, to take but one, is situated in a valley of great beauty, and the way to Badrinath is also beautiful. It is often said that the spiritual path is extremely arduous. But if you really understand what spiritual is, you will find there is nothing arduous about it. What is arduous about constantly hearing that you are fullness, ananda? The spiritual path has also been likened to a razor's edge. Stop not, be very cautious. One wrong step and the fall is great. The higher you go, the farther you fall. If you go to the pinnacle and lose your footing, not even a single bone will remain there to be picked up, it seems. Then, how can the last rites be done for you? But such talk is all based on an assumption that there is something to be achieved. In fact, there is only something to be understood. If the goal is
Can you
Ananda,
read
fullness,
that again?
I will read that again. I will just read this part, this paragraph, and then come back. So, how can the way to the goal be unpleasant? To the extent that you understand, the way is Ananda. The path is Ananda, and both sides are Ananda. There is never a dull moment, just as when you go on a pilgrimage to a mountain. As you proceed along the steep paths, every one of their many turns opens up a new vista, a new valley, a new scene. At one moment, the Ganges will be traveling alongside of you, and at another, she will have left you far behind. Further along, you will again find her right beside you. Sometimes she's down below, sometimes she's playing, sometimes she's roaring. The mountains themselves present new vistas, sometimes bald, sometimes green, sometimes wearing snowy white caps. Similarly, the path to self knowledge is not an arduous one. The path itself is pleasant, and the end is pleasantness itself. Nor, as one often hears, can the path be described as difficult in the beginning and pleasant later on, or pleasant in the beginning and bitter later on. It is sometimes said that the spiritual path is bitter in the beginning and pleasant later on, while the material path is pleasant in the beginning and bitter later on. But is this really the case? Is not the material path always a problem in the beginning, later, and in between? I will just read this back again. So, what is the idea here is that the spiritual path need not be arduous, need not be difficult, need not be a suffering. While traveling to a particular destination, people may enjoy a few things along the way, but they do not lose sight of their destination. So this is in reply to all those people who think dispassion means, oh, you should not enjoy life. But Gurudev says, life is celebration, life is joy. So it is a happy dispassion. It is a lively dispassion. But why? You don't lose sight of your destination. You don't lose sight of your goal. Self-knowledge need be no different. The beauty of its pursuit is that not only is the ultimate destination beautiful, but the means to it is also beautiful. It is like driving through the Rockies or going on a pilgrimage in the Himalayas. There are 4 centers of pilgrimage in the Himalayas: Badrinath, Kedarnath, Gangotri, and Yamunotri. There are a lot of devotees go, this being one of the things to be done in a Hindu's life. Badrinath, to take but one, is situated in a valley of great beauty, and the way to Badrinath is also beautiful. I was just thinking, here in this part of the world where we live, I think even in India, they have this for Umrah and doing a pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina. They actually have allotted time and they're given whatever leave and all that. It's only in the Hindus. We don't have. I think we should also have something. And I know it's an offshoot of what we're reading, but we should have some time catered to doing these pilgrimages. But of course, for a student of Vedanta, the pilgrimage
In
is
India,
within.
we are supporting the pilgrimages who wants to go. We are helping them. Now it has started a bit
Uh-huh.
by bit. Maharashtra also it is started now. Not holidays, but
Yeah.
financial help is given.
By the government?
Yeah.
That's very good. That's a welcome change. So how it will help, but pilgrimages and all. See, those people who are in the path, who are on the
Mm.
lap, but somewhere down below, when they go to pilgrimages and all that, they're acquiring that little adrishta phala. They're refining
Mm.
their ways of living. They're giving up. See, to taking a pilgrimage is not a joke. You have to go through, you have to be disciplined, you have to have that intention, and you have to give up so many things, right? So there is a process of evolution there.
Actually,
It is
when
all,
I was gone to the Badrinath Kedar, this Chardham Yatra, the road was very beautiful. There was some locations where the mountain was very means mushy because of the water. It come down. That roads were blocked. So somewhere it was very beautiful. Somewhere it is very frightening, and the destination. Here, the destination, both destinations, the physical and mental, whatever we are thinking, that should not have been the वो हमें भूलना नहीं था. So
yeah,
that way we were enjoying the whole yatra.
yeah,
And the in the previous paragraph it is said, whenever you are going on the destination, a small mistake, you will fall apart and you will not be brought back. That last was very nice, that
yeah,
paragraph.
right. It's a razor edge.
Ha. Once you fall,
Shurashya
you
Than.
it is difficult to come again to that level.
Mm. So it is often said that the spiritual path is extremely arduous. But if you really understand what spiritual is, you will find there is nothing arduous about it. What is arduous about constantly hearing that you are fullness, ananda? So the end point is that tatvamasi. You're talking about yourself. You're describing the self as beautiful, whole, purna, ananda. So what is difficult about hearing? It should be really inviting you to do it, right? But the the secondary means, the primary means is right, fine. But the secondary means is where you have to train. Why? Because the senses are all pulling the mind away outwardly. So that discipline is required there. That becomes that tough part. The spiritual path has also been likened to a razor's edge. Stop not, be very cautious. One wrong step, and the fall is great. The higher you go, the farther you fall. If you go to the pinnacle and lose your footing, not even a single bone will remain there to be picked up, it seems. Then, how can the last rites be done for you? But such talk is all based on an assumption that there is something to be achieved. In fact, there is only something to be understood. Gurudev so simply puts it as, now nothing to achieve. What are you holding on to? It's only a process of letting go. We'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.